Somebody taught me a long time ago a very valuable lesson, which is if you do the right things on the top line, the bottom line will follow. And what they meant by that was if you get the right strategy, if you have the right people, and if you have the right culture at your company, you'll do the right products, you'll do the right marketing, you'll do the right things logistically and in manufacturing and distribution. And if you do all those things right, the bottom line will follow. So yes, we have obviously plans about where we'd like to see the bottom line, but we are focusing most of our energy not on financial re-engineering, because that's not what's been troubled at Apple. We're focusing our energy on the right product strategies, the right market strategies, the right communication strategies, the right logistics and distribution strategies.
Did that sound familiar to you guys? Does that sound like a company that's doing exactly what that man is talking about? Yes, NIO is doing exactly the same thing. Exactly. Focus on the customer. Focus on superior products, superior customer service, superior technology. All else will follow. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, The Wealthy Mindset. It's yours truly, Money Making Mitch. And as usual guys, this is not financial advice. Please do your own due diligence and research. So as the paid analysts, the professionals like Pupavosian, Tatavosian, is still telling people it's not a buy, but yet he went to school for this. I say to you, all you have to do is use common sense and critical thinking skills to make millions in the stock market. Whilst he's telling you don't buy, his buddies keep buying. So what is happening? NIO is set for a superb, strong, extraordinary Q4 as tax incentive change sparks surge in demand. Now, I want to thank Jan Dekkers for this, the great Jan Dekkers. You guys can follow him on Twitter, formerly known as Twitter, now it's known as X. NIO is gearing up for an exceptionally strong fourth quarter, yes, this year. A trend notably underpinned by a strategic advantage, the front-loading of customer demand, driven by Beijing's scheduled reduction in purchases, tax incentives beginning in 2026, sales on the rise ahead of policy shift. During a media briefing at its Shanghai headquarters on September 3rd, CEO William Li underscored that the tapering of China's EV purchase tax incentive is likely to compress demand in Q4, effectively front-loading sales towards year-end. So a lot of people in China are going to look at the government possibly taking away the tax incentive and rush to buy EVs at an even more massive rate in Q4. He emphasized that Q1 of next year manages even half of the volume of Q4 this year. Excuse me guys, that would be considered a favorable outcome, highlighting how pivotal this surge is for smoothening revenues in early 2026. So let me just say this. They're projecting the first quarter of next year to be a little bit less than Q4 because of possibly the government removing that tax incentive. However, I see things a little differently, and I'll tell you why. In countries where they have taken away the tax incentive, but there's a huge penetration rate already, like Norway, like Australia, and I was talking to Malika, my subscriber over there in Australia, and he was telling me in Australia they took away the tax incentive. However, the amount of people that own EVs now and their neighbors are seeing it, people don't care about the tax incentive anymore, because when they talk to their neighbor and they found out, oh yeah, I really like my electric vehicle, I'm never going back to ICE, because going back to ICE is like going back into the Stone Age, which is what we are here in America. So they don't want to go back to that because they see they're driving a computer on wheels, so to speak, a futuristic form of transportation. I see the same thing in China next year. Of course, in America, they're taking away the tax incentive will cause the adoption of EVs to slow down, because one, we have inferior products like Tesla, Rivian, etc. at overpriced. So it's a different situation for China. I could be wrong, that's just my opinion. Pathway to profitability strengthened. NIO has historically faced the seasonal lull of Q1 deliveries following strong year-end volumes. However, with elevated delivery volumes in Q4 and Q3, the company is well positioned to bolster its margins and lean into its profitability targets. Now, also let me say this, the government is planning to roll back, take away the tax incentives as of now. It expires, I should say. They're not planning to take it away, it expires. That doesn't mean that they will take it away. So what I see happening is people rushing in to buy in Q3 and Q4, which we're in Q3. In Q4, they'll do the same thing. And then when the incentives are not taken away, people will continue to buy. William Lee has already signaled that NIO aims to reach non-GAAP profitability in Q4 of this fiscal year, a goal now made more attainable thanks to the surge in sales catalyzed by the tax incentive drop. What this means for investors in the EV landscape: revenue and margin upside. Elevated Q4 deliveries will drive top-line growth and help glide the company into Q1 2026 with healthier financial momentum. Stronger profitability trajectory with cost controls in place and new products boosting margin profiles. NIO is more likely than ever to hit its profitability milestone. Avoiding a Q1 slump. Even if Q1 demand slows due to the incentive withdrawal, the effect should be cushioned by the Q4 surge. And remember, global expansion. Investor confidence. A robust Q4 performance alongside a clear roadmap to margin improvements could reinforce bullish sentiment around NIO's turnaround narrative. With Q4, why Q4 looks promising for NIO? NIO's Q4 is shaping up strongly for several reasons. First, policy-driven demand is expected to surge as customers accelerate purchases ahead of the 2026 tax cut. Second, the company is targeting non-GAAP profitability for Q4, highlighting the importance of its quarter for its financial milestones. Third, elevated Q4 sales will help buffer the usual seasonal slowdown in Q1, providing stability into early 2026. And finally, strong year-end performance is likely to reinforce investor confidence in NIO's ongoing recovery strategy, with the bulls buying even more yet again. Cautionary notes. While the outlook for Q4 is optimistic, investors should remember that the incentive fade may still present headwinds in Q1. NIO's ability to maintain visibility into demand beyond Q4 will be crucial for sustaining momentum. In conclusion, NIO stands at a pivotal juncture. The forthcoming reduction in NEV purchase tax incentives positions Q4 to be a defining quarter, just like the CEO is saying. Not just for absolute delivery growth, but for hitting that long-anticipated milestone of profitability. The company's strategic product launches, operational efficiency initiatives, and policy-timed advantage all align to make Q4 a critical moment in NIO's ongoing turnaround story. So I hope you guys found this video yet again to be informational, inspirational, and motivational. If so, guys, don't forget to hit that thumbs up right there, right there. It takes a lot of time to do these videos and the editing. And if you haven't yet subscribed, you might want to think about doing so, because in this channel, we are waking up the middle class for the first time to get a major piece of the pie from the ground level up as to how the games are played on Wall Street. And like 50 said, we get rich or we die trying, guys.